Oh, Mrs. Garcia, how do you balance it all? You're a school counselor and new homeowner, a mother of two, and grad student. You're an Ander. At National University, we see the whole you. That's why we're dedicated to your professional growth through faculty mentorships and career support, so you can focus on what matters most. National University, supporting the whole you. Learn more at nu.edu.
This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Congratulations to the New Jersey Devils, who score in double overtime to defeat the Hurricanes 3-2 and claim Game 3 of their Eastern Conference first-round series. Carolina leads 2-1 over the New Jersey Devils. Devils once again winning, scoring a goal just a little under 3 minutes in to the second overtime. I love playoff hockey, not just when it goes to overtime, but I love it when it goes to like multiple overtimes. It's just amazing. I'm Scott Seidenberg. This is Cashing Out here on a Friday on VSiN, the sports betting network. We are sweating out our best bet, our live best bet, if you will, which was a bet that we placed at the half of the Laker game against the Timberwolves, where the Lakers led at the half 58-54, and our bet was the over 51.5 for the Minnesota Timberwolves team total in the second half, or it was over 105.5 for their team total for the game. 54 points in the first half, 51.5 in the second half. If your book didn't offer the team totals and it just offered, the half team total and it just offered the regular full game team total, then we recommended the 105.5 for their team total. Anyway, it is 100-96. The Timberwolves over the Lakers right now with 6:23 to go in the fourth quarter. A 32-point third quarter by the Timberwolves put us in a position where all we needed was 20 points here in the fourth quarter. They have 14 so far, but there is 6 minutes left in this game. We are 6 points away from cashing this bet, and I hope you guys cashed with me as well. As far as the second half total, well, we were looking at upwards of over 100, and we might be getting there. We'll see what happens. The live line on the game, if you wanted to bet the second half, it was Timberwolves plus 1.5 for the game. So they were minus 1.5 for the second half. And right now they are leading this game. So they are winning this second half. They're up 100-99 here with under 6 minutes to go in regulation. This one's going to come down to it. I would expect the defense to pick up for both of these teams. So really hope that Minnesota can get some baskets here down the stretch, as they've missed their last 2 baskets as we have begun to track, needing just 6 points. And here we go. We finally got 2 of them. 102-99, and I believe there was a foul on the play, so I believe we're going to the free throw line for a free throw attempt. Here's your live line right now at 102.99 with 5:22 left in the game is Minnesota minus 3.5, right around what it was for the game. Minnesota closed as a 4-point favorite, pretty widespread across the market here. Your total, live total of 225.5, and they closed this game, as I mentioned, the 4-point favorite. Live total here at Circa closed at 229.5, so trending towards an under. Looking at the live line, again, minus 3.5 and 226.5, but it's really it's so close to what it was before the game. So any pre-game bet that you had, you are certainly in sweat range right now. 5 minutes left, 103-99. Timberwolves lead the Lakers. We are waiting for the third period to begin in Edmonton. The Kings with a 4-3 lead over the Oilers. We have the Oilers on the money line. Very upset that they blew a 2-0 lead and they were trailing 3-2. Very happy that they scored to tie the game at 3, but then seconds later to allow the go-ahead goal on really just a fluky one-handed poke by the Kings player to get it under Calvin Pickard. And so it is 4-3 Kings going to the third period. Your live markets right now on this game is the Kings are minus 260. You want to bet the Oilers to come back, it's plus 195. Your puck line, if you want Kings minus a goal and a half, plus 150. Your live total is at 9.5. The under, heavily shaded though, minus 166. 103-101. Timberwolves over the Lakers with under 5 minutes to go in regulation. So we're going to monitor this finish here in Minnesota, as this is a very important Game 3 with the series tied at 1 game apiece. In Major League Baseball, we did cash our first 5 under in the Pirates game against the Dodgers. You got plus a half a run with Paul Skeens. Yeah, I know it's Yamamoto, and I know the Pirates offense has just been terrible, but you're not going to get that price very much here in this Major League Baseball season. In fact, it's going to be extremely rare to see him as this high of a plus money dog, and then just also narrowing it down to the first 5 innings, getting the half a run. Now, I love taking the half a run with a dog in the first 5 innings, because if you believe in that starting pitcher, limiting the opposition, not only do you give yourself a chance to just win that first 5 innings if your team has a lead, but by taking the plus a half a run, you give yourself the opportunity to just be tied after 5 innings. And I love being in that situation. And so that's where I was here with the Pirates. And I did go with the total to go under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. And it cashes 3-0 Pirates as we head to the top of the 7th. Your final line on Paul Skeens is 6 innings, 103 pitches, 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, 5 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks. That is a heck of an outing from the favorite to win the Cy Young in the National League. Other scores in progress right now in Major League Baseball. You got the Braves with a 5-1 lead over the Diamondbacks in the top of the 8th inning in Arizona. Bottom of the 9th now, the Padres looking to come back against the Rays. Tampa Bay leads 1-0. The Padres do have a runner on first with 1 out. Garrett Clevenger is in the game to pitch for the Rays. And let's see if we can bet on a live number here. If you believe the Padres come back to win this, let's see. Well, nope, it's off the board, which shows me that maybe something happens here. Could be a double play to end the game if this is, in fact, off of the betting board. But the Padres 12-1 at home, at risk of falling to 12-2 at home. The A's lead the White Sox 5-3 in the top of the 8th inning in Sacramento. And going to the top of the 7th, or they're in the top of the 7th right now, Rangers a 2-0 lead over the Giants there. And let's see, they do have a runner on first with 1 out. Still no update on that Padres game, but again, I'm not seeing any live betting markets, so it is possible that something did happen that the scoreboard is just not updating right now, which with a runner on first and 1 out in the inning, the game could be over. Yes, it is. End of the 9th inning. So it was, in fact, I believe, a double play to end the game. See, the sports books are always ahead. They know. They know. We got a tie game going on in Minnesota right now. 103 between the Lakers and the Timberwolves. The all pivotal Game 3 of a series tied at a game apiece. Your live line right now. 4 minutes and 37 seconds left to go. Timberwolves minus 1.5. Total of 227.5. And this is why I didn't want to get involved with taking the Timberwolves on the spread or taking the Lakers on the second half spread. I had a handicap on Minnesota with the 3-pointers kind of, coming back down, not coming back down to earth, but coming back up, because they shot so poorly in the first half, and I figured at home, their shooting will certainly come around, and it has here in the second half. We have them to score 105.5. 105.5 is what we have on them, and right now they are at 103. So at 4:37 left, 1 basket will get us to the 105. 3-pointer will be even better, and we'll cash this. 4-3, we are into the third period here in Edmonton. The Oilers are looking to avoid going down 3-0 to the LA Kings. Now, I did pick the Kings to win this series, but I'm on the Oilers to win this game. The reason why I picked the Kings to win this series, and I talked about it a little bit earlier, is because of how good they are on home ice. This is the best team in hockey on home ice. They have home ice advantage in this entire series, and it didn't make sense to me that they were plus 115 dogs in this series. Now, I could justify it because of the name recognition of the Edmonton Oilers with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and the fact that this is the fourth year in a row that these two teams are meeting in the playoffs in the first round, and Edmonton had won the first 3 years in a row. The last 3 years in the first round, Edmonton had won. So I could justify why the Oilers were favored in this series, but this is a different year, and these are two different teams. And I was all over the Kings to win this series at plus 115, but I want the Oilers to win tonight. Actually, like, very badly. I want the Oilers to win this game tonight. And it was a three-pointer made by the Timberwolves. So, cash the ticket. Cash with us right here on the program. 106-103. Timberwolves lead the Lakers. Over 51.5 for the second half comes in for the Timberwolves team total. Or if you just bet their over 105.5 on their team total, you cashed with me. Unlock your winning edge with an unbeatable offer. Right now, get VSiN Pro access to everything we do from now through August 1st for just $59. Sign up now. You're going to get 50% off the regular monthly price. That means you get the daily email with all the best bets from VSiN hosts and guests, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa Sportsbooks, complete with the trends and analysis, 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app, and full VSiN.com access featuring everything you need, advanced analytics and pro betting systems. Every sport, every edge, one low price. Don't wait. Get full access to VSiN through August 1st for just $59. Head to vsin.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Coming up next, we are going to get back into the NBA playoffs, specifically from a Denver Nuggets angle. Chad Andrews from 104.3 The Fan there in Denver will join me, Scott Seidenberg, next here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Oh, Mrs. Garcia, how do you balance it all? You're a school counselor and new homeowner, a mother of two, and grad student. You're an Ander. At National University, we see the whole you. That's why we're dedicated to your professional growth through faculty mentorships and career support, so you can focus on what matters most. National University, supporting the whole you. Learn more at nu.edu.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scott Seidenberg back here with you. This is Cashing Out here on a Friday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, as we're keeping an eye on all the action in both the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs. And joining us right now on the Progressive guest line to talk a little bit about both is Chad Andrews from 104.3 The Fan in Denver. We have two Denver teams that are polarizing right now in their respective playoffs. Chad, first, let's talk about the Nuggets, who trail 2-1, playing in L.A. at the Intuit Dome here against the Clippers coming up on Saturday, where they are 6-point dogs here in this game number 4. Before we actually break down this game and get your plays for this game, what did you make of their performance in Game 3? What did you make of the atmosphere in the Intuit Dome, the first time that they've played a playoff game there, and just what you've noticed from the Clippers in this series against the Nuggets?
Well, I think it was everything that Steve Ballmer had envisioned, right? What exactly he wanted out of the Intuit Dome crowd, and actually having Clippers fans, which most of the country thought, were non-existent for most of the franchise's existence. I think he finally saw it come to fruition, and they really showed out in that opener for a playoff game at the Intuit Dome. But it was such a disappointing performance on the Denver side of things, because they want to believe that they have a second chance at this, a new life after the firing of Michael Malone and Calvin Booth. And they were energized when David Adelman took over for the final 3 games and then won that opening game of the postseason. They thought that they could really have a chance to make a run. But then these last 2 games, they have not looked like that team at all. The Clippers have found a lot of answers. And the Clippers have been as impressive as anybody so far, I think, and you have to take them extremely seriously in the West at this point.
Yeah, I think everyone's just been waiting to see, healthy Kawhi and see what this team could do when Kawhi is healthy. And, I've gone out on a limb, and I don't even know if it's going on a limb, Chad, but when healthy, this guy might be one of the top 10 to 15 players all time. Like, no player has done what he has done. Multiple NBA MVPs, finals MVPs with different teams, and he could take another team to the NBA Finals this year. Like, if the Clippers wind up getting this done, we know he's otherworldly defensively. The numbers that he puts up, I mean, Kawhi Leonard, it's just, sometimes you just wish you can go back or you can invent a machine that can take away injuries from all these star players. It's the ultimate game of what if, but he really is that special, and we're seeing it here in this postseason.
Well, in all the wild scenarios and everyone's potential bingo cards for the playoffs, I don't think anyone had 2019 Kawhi showing up for the 2025 playoffs. And that's what we're starting to see. And, unquestionably, if he were to go back and not only go to the finals and win again with another finals MVP with a third team, but to do it with the downtrodden, ugly stepchild Clippers of Los Angeles and do it in that market, he absolutely would be in that conversation you're talking about.
So what are your plays here for this game at number 4? What do you like to see happen from a props perspective, or maybe just leaning on a side or a total?
I'm not crazy about the sides because the Nuggets are so unpredictable, and they're banged up right now. I don't know if Russell Westbrook or Michael Porter Jr. are definitely going to play in this game, and they're already with a very short bench and a limited rotation. And I think we saw very clearly in the second half of game 2 and then all of game 3, what the Nuggets did that won game 1 is no longer working. So they're going to have to try something different. So there's a couple things I'm looking at in this game. Number 1, Denver, who has a great offense because Jokic is the fulcrum of it. They've solved that with the Clippers really just sending the house at him all the time. And 83 points in a playoff game for Denver has me looking at the under in the next one because I don't know how they're going to get over 100 with what they've done so far defensively. The other reason I'm looking at that is because what Denver has to change is nobody outside of Jokic can make shots. So he's going to have to shoot, and he's going to have to shoot jumpers early in the shot clock. He can make them. So I'm also looking at Jokic over 30, but simply because nobody else can score. And if he's going to give his team a chance in this series, he's going to have to do it to try to keep them in it to avoid those 23-2 runs like the Clippers went on in that second quarter the other night. I think Jokic 30-plus points at 155 is what I'm looking at. Under 212.5 earlier today was at minus 112. And then the other thing I'm going to look at that I've looked at in every single game because he gets off to a really fast start is Ivica Zubac's rebounds. He was at 13-plus rebounds this morning at minus 125 on DraftKings. And if Jokic shoots more jumpers, there's going to be an opportunity for more rebounds, and nobody else on the Nuggets can throw it in the ocean. So I'm going to lean on Zubac for rebounds, Jokic over 30 points, and the under 212.5 for the game.
Incredible handicap there, especially if Jokic is shooting the jumpers. Zubac's getting those rebounds inside, absolutely. And one of the things I love about your plays is that they're inversely correlated, meaning if you were to do a same-game parlay on the DraftKings of the world or whatever app that you use, betting the game total to go under, but a player's points to go over, you're going to maximize your payouts. It's something that the computer algorithm just says, that doesn't make sense. It's so they expect it to be, they don't like that. They just price it differently. If you were to bet a player under, well, that's correlated to the game going under. But if you like Jokic to go over, especially at an alternate price or an alternate total of the 30, and then go with the game under based on your strong handicap, you can get a really good payout for that. Talking to Chad Andrews from 104.3 The Fan in Denver, denversports.com. Joining us on the Progressive Guest Line, I'm Scott Seidenberg. This is Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Let's turn our attention to the ice, where this has been, between the Avalanche and the Stars, I think one of the most polarizing first-round series that we've seen in years. And yeah, we can talk about Mikko Rantanen all we want, but, Dallas was the favorite to win the Stanley Cup when they acquired Rantanen. And everyone knows the injuries they're dealing with. Sure, we could talk about Robertson up front, but really, without Miro Heiskanen at the blue line, this is a down Dallas Stars team. And Colorado just might be the deepest roster that we have seen in years in the NHL. So it makes sense that they have replaced Dallas as the favorite to win the Cup. That being said, Dallas has the lead in this series. But they've only led for, 10 minutes the entire series? It's one of the more baffling things I can think.
62 seconds, Scott. They've led for 62 seconds, and they're up 2-1.
I've never seen anything like that. This is unbelievable. How does Colorado bounce back here in the next game, and what do you like to play from a Avalanche perspective?
They better bounce back. My reputation's on the line because I bet the Avalanche to win the Cup before the trade deadline at 16-1. And on March 1st, I went on the air and said they will win the Stanley Cup. I doubled down on that, saying Val Nichushkin would win the Conn Smythe. So I'm very confident in this Avalanche team. So I'm not real happy that they're down in the series that they've led for all but 62 seconds. The problem the Avalanche are having is, let's just be honest, the Stars are a real pain in the ass. They muck up the game. The ice is terrible in Dallas. They take the skill out of it and make it a dogfight. They don't let McKinnon, Makar, they don't let them carry the puck across the blue line and in to get things set up. So they're really interrupting the Colorado offense. So that's what has to get going. And it has to get going, ironically enough, with a defenseman. It's because it's Cale Makar, who may be, a top 3 player in the world, but he's been terrible so far in the first 3 games. Cale Makar has to be better. I think he will be better, and their power play has to be better. They had that double minor at the end of the third period and into overtime the other night. They got nothing out of it when they had a chance to win the game and go up in the series, and they were 0 for 6 on the power play in Game 2. Gabe Landeskog moved up to the top power play. His second game back after being away for 3 years. He's going to be on the top power play, and he's going to be on the second line tomorrow. And I think you're going to see a lot better effort out of Cale Makar. In Game 2, Val Nichushkin, my guy that I'm counting on to have a huge rebound in this postseason, was, I think, the only Avalanche player that played well. They had 4 or 5 that were okay, but everybody else was garbage, and that was led by Cale Makar and Brock Nelson. Those 2 guys have to recover and be better.
Yeah, I think I would look from a prop perspective and tell me your thoughts on this. I want to go shots on goal and pick your poison, pick your player, because we know that there's going to be an onus on this team to start early, start fast, and I think it's pucks on net early in this game. And maybe if you could isolate the first period alone, but I do like taking a couple of Avalanche players and going over shots on goal because we could cash this in the first period, honestly.
Well, they have to get shots on goal. In Dallas, they've won 2 games in overtime just by simply throwing it around. Like they're playing lunch pail hockey. They're not necessarily getting quality attempts and looks, but they keep throwing it at the net, hoping something will happen. And they get that puck luck and they get that break, and they've got it twice. Colorado just isn't getting the volume of shots that they need. So I think you're right on track with what Colorado wants to do. The question is are they going to be able to do it against Dallas? You would think down 2-1 in the series and at home, this would be the time to jump out and get on that early.
I'm on him, Chad. I'm on him. I'm riding with you here. Let's go Avs here in this game. Thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the game, man. Good luck.
All right, thanks, buddy.
There he is, Chad Andrews from 104.3 The Fan there in Denver. If you're betting on sports, why not try the races? First Bet lets you wager on hundreds of horse races every day from top tracks across the U.S. and around the world. Sign up at firstbet.com. That's the number 1, stbet.com. And use promo code VSIN200 to claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today. I'm Scott Seidenberg, and it's Cashing Out right here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
The Sports Betting Network. Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scott Seidenberg back here with you on Cashing Out, a little Friday edition here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network. Always on Twitter at Scott's On Air. Hit us all up on the network at VSIN Live as the Minnesota Timberwolves have taken care of the Los Angeles Lakers 116-104 as they take a 2-1 series lead. We cashed this second half team total to go over 51.5, and that also means the team total to go over 105.5. So that was a good cash. The Lakers only score 46 points in the second half. So they do not go over their team total for the second half. And the second half total, let me see the exact number on this because it did differ by book. But the second half number on this game was, I believe, okay, so it was right around 100. And so it does go over because 62 points for Minnesota and 46 for the Lakers. So the second half does go over. So a good play there if you did just take the second half to go over. And obviously the Timberwolves, who were down by 4 in the first half, do cover the second half line. On the ice, the Edmonton Oilers have just scored to tie the game against the LA Kings, but the play is under video review. So, pending this video review, we will either have a 4-4 score or it will remain 4-3. And I guess we are waiting to see the results of this video review. Let's see. I don't think, did they say no goal here? Let's see. I'm trying to see the replay. The puck's just free in the net, in the crease, and it looks like they keep whacking at it, and the officials do signal goal after some players start raising their hands up, but this is going to be an official review to determine whether or not that is going to count for the goal. Once again, I'm Scott Seidenberg. This is Cashing Out here on VSiN, the sports betting network. Always on Twitter at Scott's On Air. Big story in the NFL draft as we are, heading into the fourth round on Saturday as Shedeur Sanders has still not been drafted. Cash those tickets, not just on his overs, but if you did find a prop, which I was searching for, I mean, no book here in Vegas had anything because here in Vegas, the markets closed 24 hours prior to the draft beginning. But I was hoping to find a live market somewhere to bet on Sanders to drop even further, whether to not go in the second round or, whatever it was, maybe an adjusted draft number. But I could not find any of that, so Sanders has not been drafted yet as we wait the ruling here on the Oilers' goal. There's a long explanation from the referee, which makes me think that there is no... He points to the center. We have a good goal. When you're watching on TV and you don't have the volume and you're just waiting for the ref to give the signal, so this is what I saw. As the ref's standing there, he's explaining, and all I want to see is him turn around and point to the center for the faceoff, meaning a good goal. And I don't want to see him wave his hands in the no position to mean no goal. Well, finally, after explaining it, points to the center, we have a good goal. 4-4 game between the Oilers and the Kings. This is a pivotal Game 3 for the Oilers as they trail 2-0. And so I'm on the Kings in the series. I bet the Kings at plus 115 to win the series, but I did bet the Oilers not just on the money line in this game. I bet them on the puck line. The puck line's not going to hit, but it was a large plus money price, so I was chasing the plus money there. That's not going to hit because it's 4-4 with 6 minutes left, although stranger things have occurred here. But let's take a look at the live markets to see if there has been an adjustment. What is going on now? It looks like... Man, is LA challenging this? No, how can they challenge it? This was just a review. Unless they're challenging a different aspect of this, I'm very confused by what is going on in this game right now. All I can tell you is that it appears to be a timeout by the Kings. The officials did signal good goal. Now the ESPN scoreboard says 4-3. DraftKings says 4-4, which the sportsbooks is really all that matters right now. I can't imagine that there's a challenge on a play that the officials already reviewed, but something is going on here. They are challenging something. So the officials are going to the headset. I'm trying to explain this as best as I can right now. So this is the situation. The Oilers score a goal to tie the game at 4 with 6 minutes and 39 seconds left in the game. They trail 2 games to none, looking to get their first win of this series. There was a goal that was scored, and that goal was reviewed by the officials because there was, I guess, uncertainty as to whether or not it went in the net, or maybe the puck was covered, they couldn't see it. There was a reason why the officials were reviewing this. And so they go to the monitor, the officials confer with Toronto and the league office, and they say it is a good goal. After the call was made to be a good goal, the Kings then decide to challenge the play. And I don't know why they would do this, because the league, they just looked at this. Now let's see what happens here. Did they win the challenge? I think they won this challenge. No, the fans are celebrating. Okay. The fans are celebrating here. Now, this is why this baffles me. Because I explained this earlier when Calvin Pickard was complaining about a goal. You lose this challenge now, and you take a bench minor. You take a penalty. So, the league replay office already looked at the play, and they determined it was a good goal. So then the Kings and Jim Hiller, their head coach, and whoever's in their replay room upstairs is saying, hey, we want to challenge this for goaltender interference. So they challenge the play. And I understand that when you challenge the play, the officials in the replay room, they can look at a bunch of things, right? They can say maybe there was interference, whatever. But then, I love it. You know, what's the Hannibal from the A-Team with the cigar in his mouth? He's like, I love it when a plan comes together. I love it when the bet comes together. Thank you, the Kings, for the dumbest challenge that you're going to see in an NHL game. Again, let me reiterate. Questionable goal scored by the Oilers to tie the game. The league looks at it. The replay room looks at it. They determine it's a good goal. The Kings then want them to look even further. So they challenge the play. But by being wrong on the challenge, by failing the challenge, they have to take a penalty. And so not only is the game tied 4-4 now, but the Oilers then go on a power play. And just seconds into the power play, the Oilers have scored. And so all of a sudden, this game, with 2 goals by the Oilers in a span of 10 seconds, has completely turned upside down what was once a 4-3 Kings lead, with the Kings upwards of minus 300 favorites to win the game, is now a 5-4 Oilers lead with 6 minutes left in the game. And on the live line, the Oilers are now minus 1050. You want to bet the Kings to come back and win? Plus 600. We are minutes away, 3 to 4 minutes away from the Kings pulling their goaltender and having a chance to cash the Oilers minus a goal and a half. What a turn of events. That is how quickly this game can change. And that is why, if you are going to challenge a play in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you better be sure that you're going to get it right. The Kings took the gamble, and they lost. 5-4, Oilers lead, 6 minutes to go in the third period. Hey, this summer, go all in at Circa Las Vegas with the ultimate getaway package, just $400 all in. You'll get a 2-night stay here at Circa, plus a $100 dining credit, a $100 beverage credit, and your very own daybed at Stadium Swim, where the party never stops. All for just $400, resort fees and taxes included. This limited time offer is valid for stays between May 26th and September 4th. Don't miss out. Lock in your all-in summer package now at circalasvegas.com. I got to be honest, this is like stealing. I'm going to use this Circle. I'm going to use this all-in package. I might use it multiple times. What an incredible deal. I'll see you at Stadium Swim. I'm Scott Seidenberg, always on Twitter at Scott's On Air. It's cashing out right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. You can hit me up on Twitter at Scott's On Air, SCOTTSONAIR. We are at 4 minutes to go in the third period. The Oilers lead the Kings 5-4. Right now, you can get the Oilers at minus a goal and a half at even money. Or some sportsbooks might even give you plus 105, plus 110. Granted, you are not getting the same value that you would have gotten before the game started, where it was plus 160, plus 170 on the minus a goal and a half. So that value is gone. But if I told you the way this game played out, and you're sitting here up 1 goal with 4 minutes left, yeah, take the plus 105, take the plus 110, take the even money. We're 2 minutes away from getting the empty net and having the Oilers with a chance to take a 2-goal lead. And this entire Stanley Cup playoffs, there has been so many late empty net goals. First off, the goal that the Knights scored in Game 1 against the Wild to cash that minus a goal and a half with 0.1 seconds on the clock, probably like the greatest gambling event that happened so far in this Stanley Cup playoffs. But you had other situations, other nights. Game last night, I believe the Panthers scored with they scored with 1 second left or 2 seconds left in the empty net. So you're never out of a bet here, especially when these teams pull the goalie. And what I love about betting this stuff in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and what I love about betting certain overs in the Stanley Cup playoffs, is that because you can get multiple empty net goals, especially in elimination games. In elimination games, you can get multiple empty netters because what does the other team have to lose? It doesn't matter. Keep an eye on that. Once we get to a situation where we have teams facing elimination, you can play the opposition at minus a goal and a half. Heck, I would even sprinkle on a nice plus money grab on a minus 2.5 because of the idea that you can get multiple empty net goals once a team is facing elimination. Because if my season's over and I'm losing 2-1 and I pull the goalie and all of a sudden it's a 3-1 game, okay, my goalie's still pulled. And then I go down 4-1, you know what? I'm pulling him again. What do I care if I lose 5-1 or 4-2? Doesn't matter. The season's over. Give my team a fighting chance. So when it comes to those situations, I certainly like to take, especially if you can get a nice plus money price on an alternate line in an elimination game in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you can get that minus 2.5. That's something I like doing in some of these elimination spots. But we'll monitor that as we progress through the first round here of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Right now, the Kings have not pulled Darcy Kemper just yet. It is a 5-4 Oilers lead with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the third period. And there will be no timeout, I should say, by the Kings because they challenged that stupid challenge goal. So not only did they lose that challenge and then maybe lost the game, hopefully for my bet, lost the game because they had to take a penalty, and then the Oilers scored on the power play after that, but they lost their timeout because they called the timeout to challenge the play. What a dumb challenge. The LA media is going to roast this guy. Well, then again, the LA media probably cares more about the Lakers losing this game to the Timberwolves than the Kings losing, especially with a 2-0 series lead. The goalie is pulled. LA does have the extra attacker on as the clock is ticking down. They are hoping for the equalizer. We are hoping for the empty net. We just want an Oilers win, but we did also sprinkle on the puck line, so we're hoping that we can cash that. But just give me the Oilers win. That is first and foremost right now, is getting the Oilers win. And this is what's so important. And I'm going to tell you guys, when it comes to betting games in a playoff series. I'm going to reiterate my bets here. I am on the Kings to win this series. I bet the Kings before this series started at plus 115 to win this series. I think they do win this series, but I bet the Oilers to win this game tonight. Do not be afraid to bet on teams in situational spots. Because just because you have a series bet on one team doesn't mean you shouldn't take advantage of a great spot to back the other team. You can't just say, I got the Lakers to win this series against the Timberwolves, so I'm never going to bet Minnesota to win a game or bet Minnesota to cover the spread because that contradicts what I'm rooting for. No, what you're rooting for is value. What you're rooting for is to make smart bets. And so in certain situations, the smart bet changes. Down 2-0, it is a profitable strategy here to back the team, like the home Edmonton Oilers. And the empty net goal is in. 6-4, the Oilers lead, and who else but Connor McDavid scoring the empty netter for the Oilers. Edmonton, I mean, on any given night, if you're betting the Edmonton Oilers, you pretty much got like a plethora of scorers to choose from. But this is a game tonight, and it happens a lot in the playoffs because the star players come out, right, in the playoffs. But if you did like, some same game parlays, or you sprinkled a little bit on some goal scorers, I mean, everybody that you thought is going to score here. You had Kempe and Fiala scored for the Kings. You got McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Kane, Bouchard. So many options here for goals. Even in the Montreal game, Cole Caulfield scored a goal. So it's you pay a premium because the lines are it's going to be baked in with these star players. But these guys show up. They show up in the playoffs. And McDavid, hey, took an empty netter. But it's his second goal of this series. He does have a ton of assists as well, as he is picking up right where he left off last year when he won the Conn Smythe in a losing effort. That might have been one of the best bets that we've cashed here, which was betting McDavid to win the Conn Smythe when they were down in that series. But they come back, and even though they lose the series, he still wins the Conn Smythe. And because he broke the reason why we did that last year is because he broke Wayne Gretzky's record for most assists in a single postseason. And I had to remind people that when it comes to betting the Conn Smythe, it is not a finals award, or final, I should say, in the Stanley Cup. It is a playoffs award. The award goes to the player who is the most valuable player for the entirety of the playoffs, not just the final. And so think about that. When you look at the odds to be the Conn Smythe winner, obviously, yes, you're going to look at players that are on the teams that you think are going to the Stanley Cup final. But don't count out what you're watching right now in the playoffs. Because the points that these guys are acquiring right now are going to go a long way into helping them be named the most valuable player in the entirety of the playoffs, should that team go on to the Stanley Cup final. And as we saw last year with a player as dynamic as Connor McDavid, they don't have to win the cup in order to win the award. Right now, you can make arguments for a ton of players and a ton of goaltenders as well. Sergei Bobrovsky has been incredible for the Florida Panthers. Frederik Andersen's been great for Carolina. Logan Thompson, with the exception of, this game tonight, but Bobrovsky right now would be your top goaltender in the playoffs. For points-wise, Kirill Kaprizov for Minnesota, he's been great. Adrian Kempe for the LA Kings has been absolutely fantastic. But Kaprizov and Kempe leading in points, leading in goals, something to keep an eye on here. Do we have a second empty netter for Edmonton? No, yes we do. Oh, I wish I played the alternate line. Hey, be happy with your wins. But the Oilers, a 7-4 lead and 7-4 win it will be over the LA Kings here in game number 3 as they trail the series 2-1. We will have best bets coming up on not just the Stanley Cup playoffs, but also the NBA playoffs as well. We'll take a look at the Major League Baseball schedule for Saturday, and we're going to update the series prices in both the NBA and the Stanley Cup playoffs to figure out where are the bets in the series prices, not so much the games coming up for here on Saturday. Do you want to bet smarter and not louder? Check out the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com, where real bettors go to get ahead. Most of the betting world, we know it's just noise, chasing steam, copying picks, recycling the same old value plays. Well, the Sharp Plays is the source that all these people are echoing because since 2011, they've been locked in with what the real pros are betting. Elite groups, sharp money, the kind that actually moves the market. Because when the Sharp Plays move on a side, the line reacts every time. Sign up for free betting reports, real-time alerts, next-level intel via email or X, and don't take anyone's word for it. Check out the receipts. Full betting logs are live on the site right now. Why not follow the crowd when you could lead it? Visit sharpplays.com. That's sharpplays.com. I'm Scott Seidenberg. This is Cashing Out right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.